What's up everyone? This is a quick and simple video about the current COVID-19 situation in Ecuador. I wanted to give everyone a heads up about what's going down in Quito right now, how Sarah and I are doing, and how the country overall is dealing with the coronavirus. I'm in the Oswaldo Guayaquil tunnel right now. On the other side of this tunnel is Quito. I want to do a quick ride through the city and talk COVID-19 in Ecuador. So the coronavirus first hit Ecuador and Guayaquil, which ended up being one of the hardest hit cities in all of South America. Almost 13,500 people were infected in the coastal city's province, which only has about 3 million people in it. Cemeteries ran out of space, families were storing dead bodies in their homes for days, eventually being told to just leave the bodies in the streets and somebody would come around and collect them. It was a horror show. However, things are getting better in Guayaquil and businesses are starting to open back up. I'm really relieved for them. It's been a terrible couple of months for that city. That being said, Ecuador is far from being over COVID-19. It looks like they're stopping people here to check their license plates, to check to make sure that they're allowed to be driving today. Currently, the total confirmed deaths in Ecuador due to the coronavirus is 2,939. The total number of cases are 35,306. Rural parts of Ecuador are finding that all their doctors have been transferred to bigger cities, leaving them with no help. In Chandoy, a small fishing village, 11 people died of what they assumed was the coronavirus. They didn't know for sure because no one got tested. There were no doctors left in the town, so they were only able to treat the ill with traditional remedies like a mixture of eucalyptus and lemon juice. There's a prison in Ambato that has reported that 70% of its inmates have the virus. A small Amazon indigenous tribe has even reported that they've been struck by COVID-19. The Waorani tribe only consists of around 140 people, and their isolation makes them vulnerable to diseases. Something like this could potentially wipe them extinct. All that being said, the biggest concern right now is this very city, Quito. In just a week, the number of deaths in Pichincha, the province that Quito's in, has more than doubled. The death rate is 8%, which is one of the highest in the world. Pichincha currently has around 3,000 confirmed cases, and 93% of those are in Quito. The government will be reassessing the situation in just a few days' time. They're predicting that on May 26th, the province will hit its peak number of cases. The plan is to open things up as soon as possible because people are becoming restless, they're suffering, and also Ecuador's economy is in a lot of trouble. But the WHO have a number of parameters that they're telling countries to follow when considering relaxing restrictions, and it's clear that Quito is not ready. Their cases and deaths are still climbing. The city doesn't have the medical capacity to detect and treat all the cases. There are only 164 intensive care units in the city's public hospitals, and they're pretty much all full. But one of the biggest concerns is how committed and disciplined the community is. Ecuadorians, especially in the Quito area, have not been following the rules. We're only allowed to drive 1 day a week. Other than some special cases, there shouldn't be anybody on the road right now with license plates that end in anything other than 7 and 8. The curfew is between 2 p.m. and 5 a.m. You shouldn't be getting together with friends and family. You must wear a mask and gloves at all times while you're out, and you must stay 2 meters away from each other. According to the president of the Ecuadorian Medical Federation, 30% of the population is not following the rules that have been set into place. On the other hand, people are starving. People haven't worked in almost 3 months. They're going out to try to find a way to make money to feed their family. Wouldn't you? It's a really tough situation. Ecuador's biggest export is oil, and that industry has taken a huge hit, one that's going to take a long time to recover. Tourism is also obviously down, but even after this is all blown over, things are unlikely to go back to normal for years. LATAM, South America's largest airline, has announced they've laid off 1,400 workers in order to keep from going under. Avianca, the second largest airline in South America, has already filed for bankruptcy. These are two of the most important airlines for Ecuador. President Moreno says that the health crisis has already wiped $11 billion from the economy. In order to save money, he's slashed all government workers' salaries, including giving himself a 50% pay cut. They've closed down many embassies and consulates across the world. They've also abolished many government programs and public companies here in Ecuador. The National Railway, an airline, a TV station, a newspaper, and much, much more. They're even looking for a private company to take over the National Postal Service. This is expected to save $350 million this year, but the ultimate goal is to find $4 billion, a task that seems impossible. But even if they reach it, that barely puts a dent in their problems. It's tough times for Ecuador, and I think it will be for a long time. Sarah and I are doing fine though. We're very careful. This is actually the first time I've been to Quito since all this began. I go out once a week for groceries, going to one of the less busy grocery stores in the valley. Sometimes there are lineups, but they seem to be very careful going as far as spraying everyone down with something before they enter. I haven't found it difficult to get any food. Really, I can't complain at all. Sure, we're going a bit stir-crazy, but we have a beautiful terrace and we have each other. I'm not really worried about myself, but I do worry about the future of Ecuador. We always consider places that we travel to as a place that we might eventually want to retire in. Ecuador has checked so many boxes, but because of all this, the future of the country is not looking good.